Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about starting homeschooling in North Carolina. 4 easy steps to legally start your homeschool. If you are new to my channel, my name is Brooke. Just a little bit of background. I am by no means an expert in homeschooling. We have had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on our 4th full year of homeschooling. We've homeschooled our oldest daughter, kindergarten and 1st grade, and then she started traditional school, and then when 2019 or 2020, when everything hit and everybody had to bring their kids home for school to finish out that year, we decided at the end of that year that we were going to start homeschooling. So then we homeschooled the 2020, 2021, and now the 2022 homeschool year. And again, I am by no means any kind of expert, but what we have learned along the way, I would like to share with you guys, and maybe it'll help somebody else. We're getting toward the end of the school year this year, and I was thinking there may be people who are considering homeschooling for next year, and this may be helpful information for you, or maybe you're thinking about it, you're not sure what all entails starting a homeschool, and you just maybe this will help you to decide whether or not you want to do that or not. It is super simple. When you're submitting what they call the notice of intent, you're not requesting permission to start a homeschool. It's called a notice of intent. You're letting them know. So it's not like a pass-fail thing where they're going to say, no, you're not qualified or anything like that. There are some stipulations and things that you do have, or some regulations that you do have to meet in order to submit your notice. But it is super simple, and I'm going to give you 4 steps on how to legally start your homeschool in North Carolina. First off, just to let you know, you do not have to register your homeschool if your child is under 7 years old. You do not have to register until your oldest child that's going to be in your school, in your homeschool, is going to be set or is 7 or is going to turn 7 within that school year. So their school year goes July to June here in North Carolina. So if your child is going to turn 7, you're looking at the upcoming school year, or maybe you're in the middle of the school year and you're about to pull your child out of school. If they are 7 now or will be 7 by June, the end of the school year that you're looking at, you need to register your homeschool. If they're younger than that, if you're just starting with your kids and you've got a kindergartner or pre-K or whatever, they're 4 or 5 years old, you don't have to worry about it. You can go ahead and start school. That's what we did with my oldest daughter when I did her kindergarten and 1st grade at home. We started a little bit early, so even in 1st grade, she never hit 7 years old, and we didn't register. We sent her to traditional school, and then my next daughter started with her. So we didn't register until we pulled them out after 2020, and we decided we wanted to homeschool. Then we registered because they were, my oldest was old enough that she had to be registered because she was over 7. So that's really the only regulation as far as that goes, of whether you should or should not register your intent to homeschool. So let's just jump right into it. I apologize for the sound. If you're hearing my son, my 5-month-old son is in the room with me, and he's in his little saucer toy seat, and he's making a lot of racket. So I apologize for the sound, but hopefully you can hear me pretty good. So step 1, and really these steps, it's kind of just one step, but I'm going to give you 3 pre-steps so that you're prepared when you go into the main step of how to file your notice of intent. Step 1 is to pick your homeschool name. It kind of seems simple, but you can't change it. So you want to make sure that you get a really good name, or not a really good name, but just not something that you're going to be embarrassed of or ashamed that you didn't try harder to come up with a nice name or anything like that. If you don't put a name in when you're registering or putting in your notice of intent, they're going to give you a name. It's going to be your last name, I think school. So like ours would have been Michaela School. I'm pretty sure it's school. They give you a name. So I would go ahead and come up with a name because this is something that it's going to be on your kid's diploma. It's going to be on their transcripts when they have to have their paperwork to go for their driver's license, or their transcripts for college, or anything like that they would have to have their school name on it. You don't want it to be something silly, and I'm not sure how silly you could make it and they still allow you to use it, but this is, it needs to look professional or whatever, so your kids aren't embarrassed by it when they go and turn in their paperwork. I would say a good thing to do would be look around your area and see what some of the private schools are in your area, because you don't want to use, like public school names, middle school, high school. You don't want to put that in your homeschool name, because if you plan on homeschooling throughout their school life, they're going to be in all grades, and it's not just elementary or middle or high school. And I don't even think they'll allow you to use those words. Actually, if you look into all their stipulations on the name, I don't think they'll allow you to use that, like middle school, high school type wording. So I would look at your local schools to kind of look at those, or you could kind of go with like your region that you live in. Are you in the northern side of your county? You could do something like North Mountain View Academy. Academy seems to be a pretty popular name for private schools. We have Academy in my homeschool's name. You could use like the street that you live on, or something to throw in there. Take some time to think about it, because this is, if your kids are old enough, let them have an input on what they think the name could be. Maybe make a fun, not a game out of it, but, something fun for the family to do. Throw in some names and brainstorm and come up with some ideas. But you want to get that down before you go to register, because you don't want to come up with something silly, because you can't change it. Once your notice of intent is done and you get your letter saying you've got your school approved, or your notice has been submitted and accepted, then you can't change your name. So you want to get that down pat. Another thing before you actually file your notice is to find your diploma or your spouse's diploma. Whoever's going to be the one doing the day-to-day work with your kids, you have to have their diploma, because you have to submit a copy of that in with your paperwork when you file your notice of intent. I had some issues trying to get my diploma. Something was wrong, or I don't even remember what it was, but it was a lot of back and forth of trying to get my diploma, and we ended up using my husband's diploma, I believe, or I submitted mine later. I don't remember what it was. So just make sure you have that before you even go online and start trying to submit anything. Save yourself some trouble and go ahead and have that on hand and ready. That was number one. Number two, third thing is they're going to ask you if you want your school to be religious or non-religious homeschool. Honestly, I don't know the difference. You would have to look into that a little bit further. There's no difference on as far as what information you have to submit or anything like that. Everybody has to submit the same thing. It's just whether you check that box that says non-religious, non-public, or religious, non-public homeschool. I really don't know the difference. If you know the difference, let me know in the comments, because I'm not sure. As far as filing your notice of intent, it doesn't matter either way you do it. But they're going to ask you that. So go ahead and figure out if you want to do it religious or non-religious. And then step number 4, and this is the final step. I told you this was really easy. Once you get those 3 things done, you're ready to go ahead and file your notice of intent. You'll go online to the North Carolina Department of Administration. It's ncadmin.nc.gov, ncadmin.nc.gov. Or you could Google North Carolina Department of Non-Public Education. And then you go to the Division of Non-Public Education, and from there you go to Homeschool. And you'll see the different tabs, and there's one that says File Notice of Intent. And that's pretty much it. Once you have your name picked out, you've got your diploma ready to go, and it will walk you through the steps. You'll have to have an email address that you're going to use. It'll go ahead and have you sign up for a username and password for the website, and that'll be how you can go back on and log in to get like a copy of your, once your notice of intent has been accepted. You can go back in and like print your little card for things. Use that account sign in to get that sort of information, or you can go in and change your information if you need to close your school because your kid's going back to traditional school, or there's a few different things you can do on that website. But you'll go ahead and sign in, create a username and password. It's super simple. I believe when I did mine, it took maybe 2 weeks for me to get everything back, and it might not take as long for you. It also depends on how many people are trying to file their notice of intent at the same time. This year, if you're watching this before the 22-23 school year, they are not accepting during May and June. So you can't file your notice of intent until July 6th of 2022, and that's for the 22-23 school year. So July 6th, if you have not registered and you're going to homeschool next year, you need to jump on there July 6th as soon as you can. And with you jumping in as soon as it opens back up, it may be that they get a little bit bombarded, and it may take a little bit for them to get back to you to get your approval back. And again, it's not so much an approval like them saying you can or can't homeschool. You're just filing a notice of intent. It's just you letting the state know that that's what's happening. And if your child is currently in school, if you're watching this and your child is in the middle of a school year and you're wanting to pull them out, you should not pull them out of school legally until you have your notice of intent approved and you get the email or the letter back saying that it has been accepted, because you don't want your child to be counted as absent and have a gap between their traditional school registration and your homeschool registration. That's pretty simple. And then once you do that, you're legally homeschooling, you're good to go. If you have any questions about this, again, like I said at the beginning, I'm not an expert at all, but I have went through this part at least. So if you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments. If you are starting homeschool this coming school year, if you've decided, and just let me know. I want to see who my audience is and what your concerns are about the homeschooling. I'm going to be doing a few more videos about homeschooling, like getting started, how to pick curriculum, things like that. I'm just sharing with you some of the stuff that I went through when we were starting and some of the stuff that I've learned over the last couple of years. We are currently homeschooling an upcoming 8th grader and an upcoming 3rd grader. So that is my experience. Again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, hit the like button and that subscribe button and put on your notifications. I'm trying to upload at least once a week, if not a little bit more often than that. So if you want to see some more videos like this, you'll get those notifications, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.